geared toward high school juniors and seniors or recent graduates in Clinton, Franklin, and Essex counties between the ages of 16 and 21. It's been funded so far by the Adirondack Foundation in their initiative to support high school to career pathways in the Adirondacks, which has been really wonderful. And we're hoping to expand it as we move forward. And we have some irons in the fire to get additional funding as well, which hopefully is going to work out. So how it works, it's how you might imagine applying to something like this would typically work. We have a pretty simple application process that we designed. We interview applicants to get a sense for what their goals and interests are and make sure they're a good match and that we would be able to meet their needs and give them experience that would work for them. And then we go out and match the intern with an appropriate mentor. So for example, if someone says, I really am interested in graphic design work, well, if they don't already have someone in mind that they would like to intern with, we would go out and try and find someone that would welcome them into their workspace and give them some guidance, give them a sense for what that career is like, and maybe some experience in that work. And then together we'll collaboratively design the program in terms of the terms. What's the length of it? We will offer the intern a stipend. So we'll determine what that would be, how many hours it would be, what the expectations are, that sort of thing. And also with the mentor, what the expectations would be of the mentor and how that would look on their end, and just make sure we're all on the same page. And then the intern and the mentor have our support throughout the internship process. We'll be working with the intern just in terms of employment skills and just navigating sort of going to work and that kind of thing. And then when the internship period is over, they will continue to have our support as well in terms of looking for a job or support while they're in a new job and that kind of thing. So it's really intended to give people who may not have a strong support network support in getting out in career exploration and getting a job after that, and hopefully sticking with a job. Let's see. So here we have Oliver, who just graduated last spring from Saranac School and is a very wonderful artist. And we got Oliver out as an intern working with Amy Guglielmo in Plattsburgh Outside Art. And so Oliver got to really be out there, not only actually painting part of these beautiful murals you see all over Plattsburgh, but even was on the back end of things and organized volunteers for the program, monitored and ordered supplies. And in addition, also really got to just be involved with sort of the art scene locally. And so learned about classes available and organizations and all different kinds of things that he may have not known about before. So that's really wonderful. And so he had a really great experience this summer and is now involved in the art scene locally, is working locally in manufacturing, not in necessarily in art, but is involved in art, is taking some classes, and has since decided to apply to college in an art program for next fall. So that's pretty awesome. Very successful there. RJ is one of our great success stories who recently graduated from Beekmantown School and was working with the IT folks at Beekmantown School, and we were able to fund him in working through an internship there. This is just like a few second video, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it when we just interviewed RJ. It's pretty funny.
Some of the things that Ready for Real has done for me is the work readiness credential. I've learned a lot of basic skills that I need to use when answering phone calls with angry parents who are stubborn and don't know the proper methods to do things. And overall communication with coworkers, communication with people, customer service, and day-to-day tasks.
So I think RJ was speaking to the situational judgment teaching that we do with the students. So we do communication and also about situational judgment. So RJ works with, especially last year when he was doing this, when a lot of the students were remote and they all had Chromebooks at home. And so parents were he was like the IT desk, basically, and parents were calling in to work through some troubleshooting. And so he had to do a lot of that. So his skills really, he had to put his skills to use.
Some of the things that
And then we've got Hayden, who is a student at Northern Borders P-Tech in Malone and is working in the Malone Mayor's office with Andrea Dumas. She's doing some projects related to the code enforcement office. She is now a member of the mayoral council up there. And so she gets to leave school early a couple of days a week when she has some free time and work in the mayor's office there. So that is ongoing and happening currently. Additionally, we have, so those are just the few examples that I put there, but we're also about to get a student interning at the Department of Public Works in Malone, who is a heavy equipment operator. She's a heavy equipment student at the Career and Technical Education up there at FEH BOCES in Malone. So, and I'm about to work with a recent graduate here in Westport. I'm down in Essex County, who is really needing some guidance on what the next steps are. So we're about to figure out go through a process of what kinds of things she's interested in and where we might place her to get some experience. So let's talk about mentoring an intern at your place of business. So we will, we're going to be out there in the community as this program is growing, not only for this, but also for our work experience end of things. So we'll be hitting up some folks locally who, if it matches with the career interest of our participants. So if you are a person who is willing to do that, drop us a line or send us an email and let us know, and we would be happy to, when a right fit arises, place you together. So that's where we are, and we are looking forward to expanding this program as we move forward and get more funding. Thanks, everyone. Let me know if you have any questions.
That's excellent, Sana. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have questions?
Well, thanks, everyone. I'm going to run off to
go.
our next thing where we were double booked for. So thanks so much. Have a great meeting.
Thank you, Sana.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
That was a nice presentation. How are we doing for quorum?
Actually, we're on track, so we're all set. Thank you.
Okay, then it is 8:45 a.m. and I will on the 14th, and I will officially call this meeting to order. And everybody received the minutes of the last meeting from Gabrielle. Are there any discussion on those?
No, it's Joey. I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I appreciate that. I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Let's see, financials. It has my name, but I think that maybe Mary Ellen will present the financials, or somebody.
Correct.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
We presented this newer format last time, and we made a few little tweaks to be able to show it. It's not in Excel, so it's on 2 pages. Sorry about that. But you can now see the white areas are where the actual different counties enter their own amounts in, and then you can see where the budget is, what the balance is, and how much is spent to date. So the top in gold is 21. So that's what we're looking at. And then in green, we're looking at 20. And if we scroll down, you'll be able to see the other counties as well. It's kind of cut off. Also our, okay, we can scroll down some more. There we go. So here's the 21 for Franklin and Hamilton. And then 20 is in green. And you'll be able to see it better on the graphs. So once we get to that page, you'll be able to see that better. So much easier to see. This is for 21, and we will need to be 80% by June of 22. Oops, no, sorry, I have the wrong date up there. It is 22. We need to be 80%. And here's last year's 20. And you can see we were required to be 80% by June, and we are required to be 100% by June of 22. And ACP is our administrative costs, but the other ones are required to be at 100% by 22. And we're hoping that the graph helps everybody kind of see maybe a little more clearly where we are. And then providing the numbers gives you, for those of you who like details and want to know where we are exactly, we have the numbers, and those are real numbers, up to date. And the graphs kind of give you a snapshot. We are looking at moving toward a program that can really help with our dashboards, giving us more dashboards to really look at and tell the picture of how each of the counties is doing and how we're doing overall financially. Is there any questions? Do I have, I guess that's John's.
So I don't have any questions, but I appreciate your efforts in getting reports that make sense and getting us up to speed on the numbers. So I appreciate that. Are there any questions out there for Mary Ellen? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to accept the financials.
So moved, this is Greg.
Thank you. Do I have it? Greg, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Who was that?
Becky,
Oh, Becky, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you. Governance Committee, Mr. Bernardi. Is Johnny there?
I am, John.
Oh, there you are.
Thank you. It's having a brief technical issue, but I'm good.
Great.
On behalf of the Governance Committee, we are prepared to present to you the Youth Basic Skills Deficiency Policy. And hopefully you've had a chance to review this policy. This is a required policy for workforce development boards. And we did some research and found some similar policies and have customized it to our own use. It's pretty straightforward. It is to establish and provide information to the One WorkSource Center providers in acknowledging youth and young adult customers classified via WIOA as deficient in basic skills. This is important on a couple of levels. It allows for, of course, that classification, which would open up the door to many different support services and programs that are available through our network of providers. And there are some tools that are used, laid out in the process part of the policy. And of course, there's a further definition. And then there's the actual policy statement, which puts us in compliance with WIOA. So it's fairly straightforward. This is a routine item for our organization to have. And on behalf of our governance committee, and after vetting through the executive committee as well, I would move on behalf of the governance committee that this policy be adopted today.
So I have a motion on the floor. I'll open it to any comments or questions. Hearing none, can I get a second on that motion, please?
Second, Joey.
Thank you, Joey. Having no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bernardi.
Sure thing.
On the next, Alan, little report on the One-Stop Operator Committee, please.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. There's not a ton to report on here as we haven't met since the last board meeting. Sylvia and I have been in contact and talking about some new things that are on the horizon, plus the ongoing efforts with the website and subscribing to an online database. So there's not a lot going on. We do have a meeting. We're going to try getting a meeting in the next couple of weeks. I think Sylvia, either next week or the week after, we're gonna get something all set up. So I'll have more to report the next meeting.
Great. Thanks, Alan. Does anybody have any questions of Alan before we set him free? No? Okay. Brian Post, I know you just had a meeting.
Morning, everybody. Thanks, John. Yes, we actually did. The youth committee held its first meeting since last spring on Tuesday. It was great to get all the youth providers together as well as committee members to get some updates. We heard from all of our Clinton County providers, the RIGHT program, Courier Staffing, RAMP, and also ETS, like Sana just did. Heard some great, the great work they're doing, coping with COVID as everyone else is, but still providing services. We also heard some great testimonials from Essex County, from Robin Moosen, which was nice. Very much like the internship success stories we heard this morning. It's great to hear, real testimonials from the services that our local youth are getting, and some of those great success stories. So that was great. Big news as far as the committee goes. This is a year of where we send out RFPs, and that process happens. Usually it's a 3-year funding pattern, and that's where we are. 2022 is a year where we will be soliciting RFPs, and that process will start in February with a timeline of having them in place by the end of June, because the fiscal year starts July 1st. So we will be working to gather those offers of and proposals, read them over, and then hopefully have a decision we will need to have a decision by the end of June. So we'll have some work ahead of us this spring. That's what I have.
Great. Does anybody have any questions of Brian? So Brian, maybe I'll just throw this out. I've been around a while, but maybe next meeting or something, a little like it doesn't have to be PowerPoint, but something on what exactly the youth committee and your role in all of this whole thing and how everything ties together with WeYellow.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have a lot of new members on the board, and it's been a while since we have done that. So absolutely.
That'd be great. Appreciate it. Okay.
Great PowerPoint for you.
Excellent. We love PowerPoint. Appreciate it. Does anybody any further questions or anything for Brian? Okay, hearing none. Let's see. We're going to go on to the executive director's report. So, Sylvia, it's yours.
Thank you. And we'll be putting that onto the March agenda for a more in-detailed report for the youth committee. So thanks for being here today, and thanks for providing us with a quorum. It's been pretty busy since our last meeting in November, specifically because we have spent quite a bit of time on Authentic STEM project with Germany. And I thank everyone who made themselves available during the University of Ziegen's delegation's visit to the North Country. It was extremely, extremely busy. And we visited a number of companies. So thank you, Mimi, for allowing us to visit General Composite. And then also we visited Moldrite, Norsk Titanium, and Schluter System. And Schluter System actually will be our first trial business for the project, and it's going to be with the Mineville New Vision Applied Engineering class at CV Tech. There's 4 students that will participate, and I believe there's about 4 students in Germany that will also be part of the team. And so we're all so excited about this because it's going to give them an opportunity to solve a problem or two. Actually, Schluter has 8 of them. And the other companies that we visited are also providing us some problems for the future as we move forward with the project. So I don't know if anyone who attended the meetings, or Michelle Friedman, if you want to say a couple of things, or John Cowell, as we visited both CV Tech and the IAM, if you want to add anything. But from my perspective, this is a really, really good project. And then we will also invite you to the kickoff on February 4th. So I don't know if anyone wants to chime in on that. As I'm putting them on the spot.
Would just like to add that it was a thrill to have them visit and show them our Institute for Advanced Manufacturing. Very nice conversation. Look forward to more collaboration in the future.
Yeah, we're even talking about creating MOUs between the universities, and that includes Clinton Community College, North Country, and also even Clarkson University. So a lot of good, positive things going on there. Michelle, do you want to add something?
Oh, you know me so well, Sylvia. Of course I do. We are just beyond thrilled with the opportunity to actually participate. This particular project, from the conversation to now we're into the implementation stage of it, really is indicative of what we always talk about what happens in the North Country with all of our partners, whether they're business partners, educational partners, agency partners. Everybody just figured out a way to make this happen. And it really is wonderful to watch it from an organic standpoint. Sylvie, and you and your team have been remarkable in the facilitation of all of this and keeping us on our toes. We are really excited to pilot the program so that we can all learn from it and expand into other entities like Upward Bound and in our components and our neighboring BOCES. So we understand that we have a responsibility from an educational entity to really look at it from multiple lenses so that we can in fact replicate the process and involve as many students as possible. Because we all very well know when kids understand the why behind what they're doing, it is so impactful and it is life-changing oftentimes.
Thanks, Michelle. So there's going to be more activities like Michelle alluded to. Our next group slated for the Authentic STEM program is Upward Bound. So we're really excited. And then in September, we're planning on having the program throughout the whole New Vision Applied Engineering in both campuses, in Mineville and in Plattsburgh, as well as even we're entertaining at this point the idea of even including middle schoolers in one of the groups. And we're looking at the Malone Middle School at this time. So and then after that, hopefully it'll expand. And this, to me, is what workforce development is. Part of it is great because we're talking about students, and especially if we're looking even at younger students, so that we can engage them into their educational process a little bit more comprehensively. And then from my perspective, it's great because it's all these type of things they're going to be really looking at a true career pathway. So it's extremely exciting. And again, thanks to everyone who attended the numerous events that we had in December when the delegation was here. Moving on, The good news is we're finalizing a fiscal audit with New York State Department of Labor. So we should have our letter from them identifying where we are, but we're feeling very confident that it's going to be positive. And so we'll keep you posted when that occurs. But we're just in the final stages as we speak. The other thing too, I want to mention to you is that there's a new mandated position through Department of Labor. It's called the Disability Resource Coordinator, and they are making available $100,000 for 3 years for that position. And each region is mandated to have such a coordinator. So what we're doing here at the Workforce Development Board, we're going to, and it's tied into a USDOL program that's called Ticket to Work, of which the partnership is part of. So what we're doing to facilitate things, because the goal is after 3 years for Ticket to Work to fully fund that position. We're going to put that DRC position under the partnership. So it'll be a little bit easier in case, when for then in the 4th year, and then because the funding's already coming through the partnership. But I'm very happy to let you know that we are going to be putting Jordan LeBlanc, who is our present grant coordinator for the SOAR grant and the opioid grant, into that position. And then we're going to evaluate if we need to replace the grant coordinator position or to hire for that position, because the SOAR grant ends in May, and the opioid technically was supposed to end December 31st, 2020, but it's been extended until June of 22. So there doesn't have that much time frame, but thanks to some internal employees, some of our staff can take over the grant coordination, the grant coordinating position until those 2 grants sunset. So that's very exciting news, and then we'll have more as the position gets developed. But we're hoping to be able to put Jordan into that role as early as in February. So it will depend on how DOL moves the process forward. But so that's really good. And the other thing too that I just want to mention briefly, and Brian alluded to it, and so did Alan, is a couple of RFPs are going to come through. The youth RFP, as Brian mentioned, this is our 4th year, so therefore we're mandated to go out to RFP. So we'll be working with that. We're also going to take this opportunity to really look at how the services are being provided, who's being served, how all of this works, so that we can be as efficient and as comprehensive with our clients as we can. So it's a great way to kind of be able to also revamp part of our goals and so on. And the other thing is the website as well. We want to go out to RFP for that. And we're looking maybe to incorporate it into a database type of program as well, instead of having to develop our website from scratch. And so we're just exploring different venues and so on. So a lot of good things coming up. And do you have any questions about anything? Okay, well, that concludes my my report. Thanks.
Well, thanks, Sylvie. Appreciate that. Despite everything, there's still a lot going on. That's great stuff. This brings us to the other business, and a chance for a little bit of networking, what's going on in your world kind of stuff. And I know, Michelle, you're never at a loss for what's going on over at CD Tech. So you want to lead anything?
I think I have a reputation here. I'm not really sure. Oh no, I honestly, our marquee exciting news is the work that we're doing with the partnership with our Authentic STEM project. And just a little bit of extra news. We did just finally, it took a year, but we did just receive our brand new tractor trailer to add to our fleet. We also have 2 donated vehicles from Casella and from Upstone, so a total of 4. So our CDLA program has been now expanded to include CDLB. So the 30 hours for that. So I know there's been a lot of discussion actually yesterday out of the governor's office. She's put out some requests for public comment about expanding third-party sites for the road tests for CDLA. I think we are poised between our new vehicle that we purchased and our donated vehicles to really assist as best we can. We currently have another proposal in the works to obtain another brand new tractor trailer to expand into Essex County. So a lot more coming, and that's really the news out of our neck of the woods. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thanks, Michelle.
John,
Appreciate
John
Johnny.
Bernardi, I'll jump in really
Great.
brief. Just want to let our workforce development network know that we do here at United Way of the Adirondack region have a limited supply of KN95 masks and home test kits. We've been asked to prioritize these for essential workers, frontline workers, ALIS families, other vulnerable populations and groups throughout the region. So if you find yourself in need of these, whether it's to protect your frontline workers or your consumers, please call our office. We can provide you with a limited supply. Again, it's very limited. We're trying to get more, but at this point, we're really prioritizing where they're needed the most. And if you have frontline essential workers and or vulnerable groups that you're serving, give our office a call and we will provide you with some masks if you need them, test kits if you need them, and I also have hand sanitizer.
And if I could jump in too, just to piggyback on that, John, and I know Dale is on the call and he's probably more equipped to speak about this, but for the at-home tests, if the populations that you are going to refer to the United Way actually have school-aged children, then their schools have a test kit available as well. So that could help kind of spread out, making sure people know which resource to use first and then go through the layers. I don't know, Dale, if you wanted to expand, because you're right in you're right in the midst of distributing them all. So
yeah, I'll jump in. I feel as though since we've returned from New Year's break, I have done nothing but work on COVID issues. So that's right. All of the schools throughout New York State received shipment. It actually, they actually were received on either December 31st or January 1st. One test kit for every student, or one test kit, which included 2 tests for every single student in our region. I know the counties also had allocations for staff that went out. So there were test kits that were given to staff. And just this past week, half of that same amount of test kits were also shipped to the school district. So we're starting to get a tiny bit of a stockpile. This is incredibly important because we have been having ongoing conversations with the county departments of health, and it was codified by a question and answer document that came out from the State Department of Health late last night, approximately 10 p.m., that the kind of the beginning of the end is happening. I see this as a very positive step. It may feel like we are at the worst of the pandemic right now because of all of the positives with Omicron. I guess the old adage, it's darkest just before dawn is true in this case, because while we are seeing these tremendous amounts of positives, the science from the epidemiologist says that this is actually a typical course for transitioning from a pandemic into an endemic. And the documentation that we received from Department of Health last night said that schools are no longer required to absolutely contact trace. What that means in layman's terms is we can be much more judicious in who we decide needs to be quarantined from school. Up until this point, essentially, if little Johnny in second grade is positive, the entire classroom is sent home. And now with pulling back from contact tracing, we can really, just inform families that there may have been a potential exposure, be vigilant in looking for symptoms. Here are some test kits to make sure you're checking your child. And again, this is a huge step in not having to have these mass groups of kids quarantined continually. And again, maybe I'm overly optimistic, but I see this as the beginning of kind of really getting back to some normalcy in our school districts. So, but I can't thank folks like John Bernardi enough for the support that United Way provides, and the other agencies who helped us as well.
Can I just add something to that? Thank you for that, Dale. And make sure that everyone else understands that our preference from this organization would be to provide an organization or a business or a group with these items. I'm not prepared for the general public to be lining up outside my door. So again, I'll give you an example. We gave some to NAMI and Community Connections to make sure that the homeless population has these items. We've given some to restaurants who were struggling to stay open because their workers are struggling, hotels, and other businesses that are struggling to stay open. So I just wanted to point out that my preference would be to hear from a business or an organization. So if you have people from the public asking you, don't necessarily have them come here. I'd rather hear from you, and I'll give you a supply to help your consumers or associates.
I'd like to tag on to this. Right now, there's a blood shortage. I just found out that I have been unable to give blood because I lived in Germany for 3 years back in the 80s. And so that most service people have not been able to give blood. They had a whole clause on it from 80 to 96. If you lived over there more than 6 months, you weren't able to give blood. Well, they've dropped that. So now it's only the UK. So if you've lived in the UK, you still can't give blood, but everywhere else. So that means all veterans, most veterans, and anybody else who is stationed over there can now give blood. I've signed up for one at the end of the month. I'm so excited. Haven't been able to give blood in over 30 years. So I'm pretty excited about that. But there is a real critical shortage right now. So if anybody, just go online to Red Cross, find a place near you, sign up. I just highly recommend getting out there. I earned my gallon pin before I couldn't give blood. And like I said, it's been over 30 years. I'm ready to get my gallon pin again.
Very nice. Very nice.
Good job.
Excellent.
John, can I just add my congratulations to the school districts in the region for the phenomenal job that they've been doing through an incredibly challenging time, from leaders like Dale and Mark Davey and Michelle, right down to bus drivers and everyone involved. They've just been amazing. It's been heroic work, and it's just remarkable. And I think we owe them all a huge debt of gratitude.
Absolutely. Thank you, John.
I really appreciate that. And I definitely will pass that along to our school districts, as I'm sure Michelle will. It's, as unfortunately, they probably don't hear that enough. So we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Excellent. Appreciate it. We do. We really appreciate it. And were you asking about that, John? It sounded like you were going to ask if you could say that.
You know me, John. I'm very careful about asking your permission for anything.
Yeah. Oh, so what else we got going on out there?
I'll give you an update from Nova Bus.
Terrific.
2022 is going to be an exciting year for us. Our build horizon is full for 2022. We're continuing to win contracts from our competitor, New Flyer. New York City just signed on with us with another 135 bus contract production. So that's exciting. But the most exciting chapter in our life now at Nova Bus for this year, we will build this year 55 fully electric buses. It's amazing.
Great.
Yeah, it is amazing. And the technology that's coming with those electric buses is just it's high tech. It's cutting edge technology. And we're hoping to get some more ownership and training for our facility employees to understand how to build those fully electric buses. So yeah, it's a pretty neat thing that we're coming into right now. And even with the electric buses, we're still building natural gas. We're still building diesel. We're still building diesel/electric hybrid buses. So this the state of the future for this facility here in Plattsburgh is bright, and with the world coming more and more into electromobility from a global aspect, I think there's just going to be more to come. Just in our sister company or our owner company, Volvo Sweden, the steps they're taking in fully electric construction equipment and heavy duty trucks and tractor trailers is just amazing what they're doing with that type of technology and innovation. So Insight for Plattsburgh looks good for 2022 and into 2023.
Fabulous. That's great stuff. Thank you, Joey. What else? Anybody else?
I'd like to offer a quick update from Clinton Community College. First, Happy New Year to everybody. I'd like to certainly share that we're thrilled to have the New Vision students at the IAMs. We've started this January, doing some of their classes right on campus here. Yesterday, we had the students from Essex County, from the South Campus come as well. So that's been really nice to have. It reflects our commitment to collaboration. And we're continuing to do vaccinations on a weekly basis in collaboration with the County Health Department. And just a few weeks ago, we were glad to be able to offer a pop-up vaccination site in collaboration with the governor's office. So a lot of good things happening. We're also starting classes in 2 weeks. We will be in person, but with very strict masking and testing requirements. And that's the protocol we're using to continue, hopefully, the success we had in the fall with good control of whatever challenges we face. So looking forward to the spring semester.
Excellent. Thanks, John.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Anybody else? Well, that's great. It's been a Happy New Year to everybody. Looking forward to truly getting us all back together again this year in person. And wish you all a wonderful, healthy, and prosperous year. And with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, John, and with the wish for you to feel better.
I feel great. I really do.
Right.
It's
You just sound awful.
yeah, that's it exactly. So it's just like to me, it was like the common cold, but you know, so
But you've been vaccinated, so that makes a big difference.
it probably does. It probably
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
So
yeah.
indeed. So with that, so that we've got that from Becky, do we have a second?
I'll second, Dale.
Thank you, Dale. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained. We stand adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye,
Have a
everyone.
great day.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Buddy.
Bye-bye. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.